Free agency is getting closer and closer, and that means for Dynasty, player values are going to start changing again. But it also means cap casualties, right? Guys that are talented, that are good players, are going to end up being surprise free agents. So today we're going to talk about 5 guys that could be your cap casualties at the wide receiver position, what they mean for free agency, Dynasty, all these other things. So let's dive in. The first name on the list, it's the biggest name on this list by a mile, and it's Keenan Allen. Now, let's get a lay of the land, right? Why could Keenan Allen hit free agency here? Well, he's 31 years old, and if the Chargers cut him, they end up saving $14.8 million against the cap. Now, that comes with a $7 million cap hit of, dead cap, but this team is projected at, $19.6 million over the cap. So they are in the red. They do not have a lot of wiggle room, and Keenan Allen helps get them to the point where they can make, meaningful changes to the roster through free agency. Let's say Keenan Allen becomes a cap casualty. What does this mean for him and the rest of the team? Well, for Mike Williams, Josh Palmer, right, the two names that we're all familiar seeing on the Chargers, their value has to go up. Now, that rise in value may be short-lived because they're going to bring someone in to replace Keenan Allen. Is it going to be a top wide receiver in free agency? No, I don't think so, just because it doesn't seem like, one, they have the money to go out and spend and go get, Jacoby Myers, which I think would be a reasonable replacement. But also, where they sit in the NFL draft, they're in the prime position to go out and add some of these Keenan Allen style wide receivers available, right? JSN, Jordan Addison both come to mind. Now, for Keenan Allen, what does this mean? Well, he hits the market and immediately becomes the best wide receiver on the free agent market, right? Even at 31 years old, Keenan Allen's the best wide receiver available by a mile. Pretty much anywhere he lands, he's going to probably step in as the top receiver on the team, or, be the 1B in a very, very good offense. So Keenan Allen, I don't really care if he gets cut. He's still going to be a high value add in Dynasty and one of these older veteran wide receivers that you should look to buy now. Next up, it is Tyler Boyd in this sense, right? Keenan Allen Jr. He's 28 years old. The Bengals cutting Tyler Boyd saves just under $9 million in cap space and only comes with a $1.4 million cap hit. That's basically nothing, right? You're looking at the Bengals and you might think, well, why would they cut Tyler Boyd? They have $36 million in cap space because you have to pay T. Higgins coming up here soon. You're going to have to pay Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Jesse Bates. They have a lot of pieces that need to get paid, and they have other holes on the roster they need to address. Your wide receiver 3 with this kind of savings is a bit of a luxury. So Tyler Boyd, I think, is on the chopping block, although it's not a guarantee he gets moved. Now, what does this mean for Tyler Boyd's free agency value? I think he probably steps in as maybe the 3rd, maybe 4th best wide receiver available. He's a big slot. We know this. We know exactly what he's going to give you on the field. He was productive when he was a little bit younger and Jamar Chase wasn't there. So maybe Tyler Boyd steps in as a wide receiver 2 on a team and gives you low-end wide receiver 2 production, maybe a lot of flex weeks. I think that is a realistic path because, again, he's only 28. I don't think he's over the hill. He's just not as good as T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, which is fine. A lot of guys aren't. So Tyler Boyd is an interesting buy low trade target, actually, just for the sole reason if you can get him for like a 3rd, I think you end up getting more production out of Tyler Boyd than what you give up to get him. Before we get to our 3rd wide receiver, guys, if you like these videos, if you like the DLF content, check out the YouTube membership. Over there, we have a tier called the bonus content tier. For $7 a month, you get extra videos, extra pre-recorded videos, extra live streams, access to Q&A threads on the YouTube channel as well. There's a ton of stuff. I think there's 5 videos currently already up for our members only. So check that out, guys. $7. Wide receiver number 3, it's Corey Davis. Now, he's going to be the same age as Tyler Boyd, and their careers have gone, I think, fairly different. His cap hit is only going to be $660,000 if he gets cut, but he ends up saving the Jets over $10 million against the cap. And when you're looking at a team that is right now projected $2 million under the cap, this feels like an obvious move that's going to happen. I'd be very shocked if he ends up not getting cut. So what does Corey Davis do to the rest of that offense if he leaves, right? Garrett Wilson's the one. We know what he is. Corey Davis isn't changing or affecting that. Elijah Moore, I think, probably sees a minor uptick in his role, right? You hopefully see the Elijah Moore I was predicting last season. I don't think it's solely going to be because of Corey Davis, but Corey Davis is talented, and therefore removing a talented wide receiver from a guy that is trying to make a name for himself, I think it has a positive effect on Elijah Moore. Now, Corey Davis, he hits free agency he comes in below Tyler Boyd, I think, maybe around the DJ Chark area, although I prefer DJ Chark. But as far as Dynasty goes, Corey Davis is like your wide receiver 5 or 6 on a good roster. You really should never, ever be relying on Corey Davis, but we've seen, like, in the right position, he can give flex value. He can give wide receiver 2 production. He's a guy, throw at the end of your bench. I'm not actively trading for him because I don't think the path to wide receiver 2 production is clear or likely. But I don't think Corey Davis is fully dead in terms of Dynasty. And speaking of dead, we go to wide receiver 4. That's Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson is going to be 30 years old. If the Cardinals cut him, it is a $0 cap hit and a $12 million savings. And the Cardinals have cap space, right? They have $13 million. But if you can cut Robbie Anderson and double your cap, you're going to do it. It's a very obvious move. I don't think him getting cut really means anything for anybody. But he'll be out there. He'll float around. This is a guy people will see get signed and think, oh, maybe. And maybe you can get rid of him for like a third. Maybe a 2024, 2025 third, right? Somebody bites on the he's better in best ball style profile, right? That's fine. Just Robbie Anderson is toasted. I don't think there's much else to say. Last player on our list, it is Robert Woods.
You're a wizard, Harry.
It really does feel like we may have finally seen the end of Robert Woods, right? Maybe he goes out and fills the Tyler Boyd slot, right? I think that's actually a very likely scenario because I think Robert Woods is still a good wide receiver, but what we saw with him in on the Rams, that's gone. That is forever behind us, unfortunately. I don't think him getting cut would really have any effect on Treylon Burks or if they bring in another wide receiver. I think they probably go out and maybe try to make a move for a DeAndre Hopkins, or they try to add, DJ Chark, Jacoby Myers, and then pair it with another rookie in maybe the second or third round, end of day 2, to really start to give just this offense options as Derrick Henry gets older, right? Chigakonkwo does his stuff. Treylon Burks gets better. They just have to find a way to evolve this offense, and it's not going to be with Robert Woods on the roster. And to quickly close this out, there's probably 3 or 4 other names that you guys should be aware of that are potential cut candidates. 1, MVS. He did nothing. He played his role. That's about it. But they can save like $7 million, so he's probably going to get cut. Kenny Golladay, yeah, obviously. And then Devontae Parker, again, I mentioned him as an option maybe to sign with the Jets as a Corey Davis replacement if he hits the market. I think it's a possibility, but again, not very productive. All right, guys, that is all we have for you. Again, remember, like the video, comment. If you have questions, drop that down below. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the YouTube membership option as well for extra videos. As always, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.